Well, well, people, here's my exhaust. Basically the chimney for the dehydrator. Yeah, she's going to be a little bit loose fitting into there, but nothing that a bit of duct tape mightn't fix. Yeah, had a bit of trouble trying to get a pipe to fit, so it's amazing what you can do with a bean tin. A cordless drill, a riveter, a few rivets, and some brains, and a bean tin. Slid down the side of the bean tin, took about 3/8 of an inch off that to fold it in to fit this. Got it so it was sitting in there, like this was fitting inside that, sitting in there, held straight. Bang, one rivet, bang, second rivet. Cut the ends out there to give me little flaps, and then proceeded to build a few more rivets through. And these are basically 73mm hole saw is going to be a little bit big. I've got another hole saw. There's a piece of wood stuck in the middle, so I'm going to have to either pick that out. What is it? It's not that big. I think it's about 3/4 of an inch or something like that. Oh yeah, I just forgot. I also have borer bits that go right up to an inch anyway. But I may actually get a few 13mm drill bit and slap it in the drill and make several holes that lead into this. Basically, it's a 4-inch piece of wood, which means you've got 100mm. If you whack a 73mm hole saw into that, first of all, it's going to be bigger than this hole, so then I'm going to have to try and fill it up with silicone or probably acrylic gap filler or something like that. Second of all, with a hole that big, it's going to be as weak as piss. Too big a hole for not enough wood. You're going to end up with, what is it now, 27mm, which is only just over an inch worth of wood. So you've got half an inch of wood on either side. And that's all that's holding the front, that's all that's left of the front of the frame. It'll crack. I know it'll crack when you've only got half an inch either side and then a great big 3-inch hole in the middle. So I'm not going to flame and do that. But anyway, we'll whack maybe 4 small holes that would fit inside this, all reasonably close together, and then we'll just sort of go put that over the holes. Where these cutouts are, in between one and the next there will need to be a bit of acrylic gap filler over those because they won't seal perfectly flat and whatnot, so I'll squeeze a bit in at all the in between the flaps there, and possibly one around the edge there as well, all the way around, and proceed to make my little chimney up, and then I've got to do a similar thing on the opposite end for the incoming air, and find a bit of screen or whatever around here, which I know I do have. Hell, there's a speaker cover there that would do just fine for it, but I've got plenty of other screen around, and same again, put a bit of clear acrylic, not clear, but yeah, some sort of acrylic gap filler or something like that, to basically seal in between the fly screen and the wood, so that it actually works as fly screen as opposed to just have the flies crawl in anyway. And then I've got to wipe it all out, silicone up the little gaps on the sides there, maybe the ones in the bottom of it, and then we will be ready to put some work out something to do with legs, which may not actually be any more than high tech than sitting on a 5-gallon drum, to be quite honest. And we'll be just about ready to roll. Okay, this is broken, but this is just sitting just over there. Property of Standard Grease and Oil Co., Murphy Street, Richmond. This bottle must not be used as a food container. As funny the stuff I dig up around here. It's pity quite a few of them are broken, but there have been some full ones, and my mum's got a lot of those full ones. I think this is an original Coca-Cola bottle. This is over near the firewood heap. Dug this out of the ground. It's missing just the top, but I would say that one is back in the day. It is not a recent one. They've made these copycat new ones, and I can tell it's not that because it's so bloody heavy and so thick. And it would likely not be. Especially seeing that it's measured in fluid ounces, which is not standard in this country anymore. And especially seeing I dug it up from under the ground. Yeah, stuff I find around here. Nailed! Right, another one similar size I pulled out of the ground in a similar spot. I just realised I got a star picket, a little rusted sharp thing sitting up near the fig tree, so I'm going to have to smack it out with a log splitter or something. One end of the log splitter is obviously log splitting, and the other end's like a sledgehammer, so give it a few thumps, she might come out. Alrighty, well, we got her on, drew a few holes and all that, and sealed her all up. It's bloody annoying. Every time I walk on that side there, all little bits of dead grass lift off and all end up in this. This is going to be one of these things where you probably got to vacuum it out before you use it, sort of a thing, because of the... and prop it up before you vacuum it out, because every time you walk past, if you're on the wrong side, your feet just sort of... As you lift your feet, the vacuum of your feet lifts up a little bit of crap and it all ends up getting in there. Yeah, I might have to give it a brief wipe down. I used a cloth. The cloth was a little bit old and a little bit rotten, and when you wipe it, leaves little bits of cotton behind, as you can see. Stupid. So I'm going to have to use I've got like a face washer that I've bought about, a year or so ago, and almost never used it, so I might use that. I've filled up all the nail holes and stuff as well. You can paint water-based paint on it in 30 minutes. It's 2 days before you can do oil-based paint on it, so a couple of days I might go along with a spray can and just touch up these little bits, and maybe all along the edge there as well, where I've got all the gap filler. Yeah, and, you know, give it a decent wipe out. And I still haven't really cleaned this. That'll come out when I roll it over, but there's going to be a lot of dirt in that needs a bit of a clean out, or just a good blooming squeegee. I'm getting it off with my finger there, but yeah, got to clean that as well, of course, before it goes on top of that. I found this thing. It's not all random scrap metal. I mean, I'd probably use a damn sawhorse here without a problem, you know, and I might, but it'd have a tendency to easily blow off. But there's a bigger thing. It's out past all the cars there. That's sort of a lot lower and reasonably broad and strong enough, and I could probably just carry that in here and slip it underneath this. Oh yeah, I haven't used any gap filler on this because it all come out pretty flaming flat anyway, and that's like a little really fine mesh, I don't know. Oh, yeah, you can see it, and that's your air inlet. Yeah, and that's your top, of course. Up that in with the outlet. Yeah, so she's basically, aside from a quick spray paint around there, a clean of this and a clean of the glass, and sliding this box underneath it, she's basically, and getting a bit of duct tape and possibly a bit of wires or something to, you know, duct tape that over and wires to hold that up, or some kind of a prop, which I sort of have, a prop. I used to, when I was doing pergolas, they used to have things like this to act as temporary posts, and they have things like this to hold extension leads up on construction sites, which they had stacks of them where I was doing plastering, and they used to put like a little V-notch in the top, but that might be a good, she's a bit shaky, but it'd still be a good option to hold that pipe up and to act as a chimney. So yeah, that might get a bit of a use as well. I think that would work well. I was going to try like guy wires like you have in a wind turbine tower, but that's just probably going to turn to shit. It's probably just not going to work. So yeah, that would be the best option for me chimney, so to speak. I've got to get a bit of fencing wire or some such stuff, and oh yeah, I have a few bits of thin rod and that, but I'll work something out anyway to be able to. Oh, there's the other method, is the pull method. Basically, I've got to clean this out because there's cobwebs in it. You can push it with a stick of some kind if you've got a piece of dowel that's long enough. And in fact, there's a whole heap of trims and rubbish that I got out of my grandfather's, well, my father got out of my grandfather's place. And, you know, you can use, like, sticks like that if they're long enough. But there's another method, too. And I've got one of the ones they use for electrical cables. You might have seen it's like a blue bit of thin plastic stuff on the front lawn. And it's sort of rigid enough, so you slip it through and you tie your wiring to the end of it and then pull it. And I might have to sort of, you know, make a little rag ball at the end of it and then slide it through and grab hold of the end of it when it comes out, pull it, and actually pull it through as opposed to push it through to clean that out. So, but yeah, basically, we've got the dehydrator pretty much done, and I was thinking of starting on something else, but you know, I've got to make lunch for tomorrow for work, and the day's sort of pretty much, well, they're starting to get cool, and the day's probably best coming to a close. I might play around with the parts for it, though, because I can still play around with tin snips and make up the parts, so I'm ready to go for it. But what it basically is the fan that I've already showed you guys. It's all water sealed, and I got myself the blade fuse holder that's a waterproof one with like a full lemon triple O-ring seal thing in it and everything. And that sort of like this one there, the old drench container, that's my outlet vent. That's an anti-spatter thing I got from a cheapo Asian shop, but basically it's a rigidly held bit of fly screen. And yeah, that was the quickest, cheapest one I could grab at the time without getting a whole shit ton of fly screen. And in fact, it's so tight it actually keeps mosquitoes out, which is really good. But that's me vent for the house, like for my bedroom. And I think it's like the top of this weatherboard here. It goes back to ceiling, like the ceiling is literally running along there. And because this isn't terribly far from the top of the ceiling where the top of this is. So one of these ones, we've got a bird circling us, one of these ones up here somewhere, it might not be too stupid to put it straight through the flashing. I'm basically going to have that fan anyway that keeps venting out, that I can pull the fuse out to turn it off, but during the hotter summer months, I just leave it in all the time. And then it's going to have a panel, like, literally just mounted there somewhere, so that it doesn't sort of come on during the morning, but because that's your west, which is where your sun goes down, if the panel's angled that way, it'll turn on probably, you know, like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon when it starts to warm up a lot, and then start sucking all the hot air out of the ceiling space. Now, the ceiling has insulation that is literally a foot deep bats, plus your radiant foil, silver paper, sucking insulation, you know what I mean, that sort of stuff. And but all the same, you know, the fan idea was a good idea that I thought up and thought, what's the point? And then a subscriber suggested it again, and I thought, I sort of said, yeah, I've already done that. And then since I've been given the fan, well, hey, it's a completely enclosed waterproof fan, so it's actually quite easy to do it, because all I need is, well, just to solder on the bloomin' fuse holder and the solar panel, and then seal up all the electrical joins with this shrink stuff I've got, and then I'll put neutral cure silicone over them to waterproof it properly, and she'll vent straight out of there. Went direct from its own 10-watt solar panel, and the fan itself is about, to work out, 2.5 watts or something like that. Not very much anyway. And yeah, but that's was a good idea. That wasn't a quick, easy job until I got this completely sealed fan. So now we should go ahead and do it.